notes pulled up really quickly so I don't forget anything while we let everybody come in. Happy Sunday. I hope you guys are rested or resting and starting your week off strong. I know that a lot of people have to go to work tomorrow, or they might be at work today or had to work today. So I hope that you're having a great day, first of all. When I get this pulled up, just give me a second. If you are dealing with hormonal imbalances, or if you're just out of balance in general, you feel like your body is off, you're dealing with fatigue, or you're just not understanding what's happening inside of your body, you're dealing with diseases or illnesses, etc. This live is going to be for you, specifically for women, because I help women specifically. Men do come and ask for my support, but I help way more women than I do men. And so today we're going to be talking about hidden poisons in our food, in our environment, in our products, and understanding how to reclaim our health through a plant-based lifestyle. Because too many of us are sitting here dealing with the issue of not being supported with the foods that we eat, not being supported with the products that we use, and we wonder why so many of us feel like our bodies are turning against us, that we're not being supported, that our body is something wrong with it, or this is just something that we have to deal with as a woman, right? Too many of us are not realizing that you are unknowingly poisoning your body to the point where you're no longer healing the way that your body is naturally supposed to be. You're no longer using nutrients inside of food. You're no longer gaining any nutrients in your food at all. So you've been malnourished for years on end. And so if you are ready to reclaim your health, if you are ready to stop dealing with all of these issues and actually live the life of being healthy and knowing what that feels like and knowing what that is, then this live is going to support you, because not only are we going to be breaking down what is going on inside the body, understanding fatigue, understanding the hormonal imbalances, understanding why you're constantly feeling like there's something off or you're unwell, and not only allowing you to be able to understand the plant-based lifestyle, but also embrace it with a happy, healthy view around it, rather than thinking that you're going to have to suffer, you're going to have to starve, you're going to have to sit here and hate the lifestyle that you're trying to live because you want to be healthier. But rather realizing that holistic lifestyle, holistic care to your body, holistic self-care itself is the beginning path for you to learn how to heal. It is the route that you need to go for your healing journey in order for you to actually see the results that you're looking for. Because too many people are following diet culture, and we do these things that are momentary band-aids, and we wonder why they don't work. We wonder why we have to keep taking a prescription, why we have to keep going back and forth to the doctor, why in the world now every single time we go to the doctor we have a new diagnosis. It's because you never dealt with the root cause of the issue that you're having going on, and so your health journey is suffering. You think that these things aren't working and that your body doesn't work right, or it's turning against you, but in reality you haven't digressed and you haven't digested the hidden poisons inside of your life to start changing. And so we have to hit each aspect. It's not just like you can change one thing and then everything else is going to heal. You have to hit each point of the unhealthy habits in order for you to see a change. Thank you for the follows and the likes. I really appreciate it. So when you're consuming things like processed snacks, you don't know how to read your labels, or you read a label but you only read the calories and you only read how much sodium and sugar is in it, and you don't actually know what these additives, what these preservatives are doing, what artificial ingredients are, or how to read them and realize that like titanium dioxide is a filler. It's not only a filler but a coloring agent, and it colors your insides as well as make you inflamed. These ingredients inside of our food that we consider as food, which isn't food when you have all of this crap in it, are hormonally imbalancing you, as well as the fact that they are damaging your organs. And it's gotten so bad to the point where we don't even realize that things like citric acid are made from black mold, because these companies use the citrus from black mold, not from citrus fruits that it should be, that it used to be. But they started using black mold because it's a cheaper alternative, and you're not going to be able to tell the difference because you're microdosing mold. And when you break down what happens when you microdose mold inside of your life, let's say you have mold on something and you don't realize that you have mold until it's been years of it molding and growing, and then you've been festering in that mold, and now you have some type of respiratory issue and you're trying to figure out why. So then now you get a specialist in your home because they said it might be something in your home, and you're realizing it's because you've been breathing in mold all of your life for over a year. You've been breathing in mold for multiple years, etc., right? And you have been slowly microdosing your body with mold, and so now you're sick. This is the same thing that happens when you eat your processed snacks. Because when you're eating these preservatives, when you're eating these additives and fillers, all you're doing is microdosing yourself with toxins. And over time, you will become sick because your body can no longer filter all the toxins that you're consuming. And so it starts to store inside of your fat cells. And then as you go along and you also use personal care products full of chemicals, full of parabens, sulfates, synthetic fragrances, and these are all endocrine disruptors, now your hormones are completely panicking. Now your hormones can no longer balance themselves. So now you're dealing with painful menstrual cycles. Now you're dealing with PMS. Now you're dealing with fatigue. Now you're having an irregular cycle. Now you're thinking, oh my goodness, I need to take birth control because I have a fibroid and a cyst and I don't want to get a surgery, right? These are two preventable areas in your life to not only not be poisoning yourself, but to also gain the understanding of the fact that they have trained you into an environment that is toxic to keep you ill, to keep you playing this guessing game of, okay, well, maybe it's this. Let me cut this out. Maybe I just need to do a diet. I need Jenny Craig, keto, paleo, Weight Watchers, and these things don't work. Thank you for the follow. And so as you go along and you're sitting there thinking, oh, it's allergy season, it's flu season, and you have these irritants like pollen, or you have these irritants up in the air, or you are allergic to something, and so you think that now all of a sudden it's flu season, and so you are exposed to the environmental toxins, you're thinking that it's just the season, and this is what happens when it's cold, or this is what happens when pollen ramps up. Do you realize that the only way that you suffer from allergies, flu season, whatever season of sickness that you want to categorize as sickness season, only thrives in a space that it has something to feed off of? There is no flu season. There is no allergy season. We are just so used to bodies that cannot regulate themselves that all of us suffer from the same issues of flu, allergies, having these symptoms just roll around each year. Because when you are overloaded with toxins and your body comes in contact with an irritant like pollen, it's going to freak out. It's in fight or flight mode already. So then now you're sneezing, you're coughing, your nose is stuffy. Now you have your sinuses going crazy. It's not because you have allergies that you suffer from every year. It's because you spent 3 to 4 months beforehand during the time of the winter time when you celebrate all your holidays and you eat a bunch of crap, and you've been doing this for months, and then now you're wondering why by February, March, you're sitting here sneezing and coughing all the time and you're so sick. It's because you have not given your body anything that it needed, and you have been giving yourself inflammatory foods. You haven't been active as much as you are in the summer. And then on top of everything else that you're doing, you are sitting here consuming and not moving, not drinking enough water, not reading your labels, and then you're wondering why all of a sudden you have the flu, why you have all these different sicknesses, why you're dealing with allergies. It's because your body has been inflamed and it cannot help you in any other way, shape, or form. Thank you for the follows. And so now it's giving you signs to give you warnings to let you know it's overly inflamed. Think about the same thing when you are addressing the fact that, let's say, you break a bone. When you break a bone, but you keep using the area that is broken, that is hurt, that is injured, you pull the muscle, etc., you're going to do more damage. You're going to cause more problems. It's not going to heal correctly, right? Think about the same way your body internally happens, because the same thing happens internally. You do nothing to support it. You keep hurting it. You keep using it. You keep adding in toxins, and it does not heal the correct way. But when you allow your body to reset, when you allow your body to flush, when you let your body do what it naturally does and detoxify itself, but help it with foods, support it with food, because food is medicine, you will see how your body naturally heals itself the same way it heals a torn muscle, a broken bone. Because why do you think that your body can heal one aspect, but it can't heal everything else? We believe and we know that it can heal a broken bone. You break your leg, you can heal it. You pull a muscle in your leg, you can heal it. You pull a tendon, you can heal it naturally by leaving it alone. So why do you not believe that your body internally can heal itself if you leave it the heck alone? If you let it reset itself, if you let your body stop having to digest every day, rather and remove toxins, your body will naturally be able to start healing itself. And then you'll start to see, oh my goodness, I've been throwing my body off for years. So this is what I need to start doing. This is how I help my body heal. This is how I support my system. But nobody sits back and does this analysis of how the body works, because we are so heavily trained into your teeth can't heal themselves. If you get a cavity, you have to get a surgery. You need a fill-in. But we don't think about, if your bone can heal inside of your body, why can't your teeth heal? We don't think about the fact that if your bone can heal inside of your body, why can't I heal myself from the issues of high blood pressure and diabetes? You have to understand the signals that your body is giving you in order for you to get to the root cause, in order for you to really digest what is happening. But we are not trained and taught how to listen to our body, but instead ignore it and use a prescription to fix the issue and to manage to make it to the next day. And so when you have things like hormonal imbalances specifically, because so many women are out here, there's millions of women dealing with hormonal imbalances, and we're not sitting there thinking, if there are millions of women dealing with hormonal imbalances, why is this not a crisis? We're not recognizing the symptoms because we're not taught how to sync with our cycle. We're not taught that irregular periods are not normal. We're not taught that mood swings like PMSing is not normal. Having fatigue every single month is not normal. You having mental fog is not normal. They have made it the norm, but these things are not what our body is designed to do when it's healthy, when it's balanced. Thank you for following, and thank you for sharing the live. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for the likes. So when you sit here and you don't allow your body to digest, to rebalance, to heal using food, but instead you consume to fill every single day and to make it to the next day, you are going to be throwing off your hormones. When you are sitting here throwing off your hormones for days on end and not supporting your system, you do realize that your organ health is going to be poor. So your liver is not going to be detoxifying like it's supposed to be, but instead it's going to be leaking toxins inside of your bloodstream, which makes everybody else's job harder. So then now your pancreas is having to compensate because you eat sugar and carbs without any stabilizers. So then now your insulin resistance has been spiked, and your pancreas is having to sit here and try to compensate with all the insulin by producing more insulin, which causes you to become diabetic. Thank you for the follows. And over time, let me get some water. And then over time of you consistently doing these things, you do realize that this is also going to cause your bloodstream to be tainted, because your kidneys are having to filter more toxins because the liver is no longer filtering as much as it was. And so then now you're going down a path of your liver, your pancreas, and your kidneys are working overtime. And we're not even addressing the fact that you don't support your gut in any way, shape, or form with the foods that you eat. And so over time, when you're sitting here consuming the way that you do, and you're thinking that there's something wrong with your gut, now you have been diagnosed with IBS, and you're like, well, my digestive tract just doesn't work the way that it's supposed to be, and this is just something that I have to deal with. It is what it is. You're not realizing it's because you are not supporting your internal system fully. It's not because there's something wrong with your body, there's something wrong with your gut, that you have IBS and this is something that you have to deal with for the rest of your life. When you get diagnosed with something, it's because you've been ignoring your body's warning signs for years on end. And since you've been ignoring these warning signs, adding in more toxins, and then not supporting it with food, so you've been piling on more crap, more toxins. And then on top of that, you have the issue of weight fluctuation. Your cycle is not being synced with. You are having all these imbalances and all of these issues just going back and forth against each other. Yeah, your body's going to feel like it's fighting itself. Yes, you're going to feel like you have poor health. Yes, you're going to be dealing with PMS. And then you're not helping your body maintain a healthy balance when it comes to your hormones. And you don't realize that when you are dealing with hormonal imbalances, that is linked to you developing insulin resistance. Insulin resistance leads you to having diabetes. That's the reason why there are so many people dealing with diabetes. It's not just it's sugar. Oh, it's just because you're overweight. Oh, it's just because of carbs. It's a full imbalance of you not supporting your body from the inside out, not regulating and balancing your hormones, not supporting your system with the foods that you eat because you feel instead of fueling, not getting to the root cause of these issues that you're having, increasing your risk to type 2 diabetes, increasing your risk to develop type 3 diabetes, increasing your risk to have Alzheimer's. Because when you do not deal with your developed type 2 diabetes and then you develop type 3, it is more likely for you to develop Alzheimer's, because sugar literally makes you lose your mind. And you're not going to stop consuming the sugar that you love to eat now that you've developed diabetes, because your brain is thinking this is what everybody has to go through. You're going to develop some type of disease, some type of illness, right? You're going to have some type of surgery at some point. So you might as well enjoy your life. But this mindset is keeping you in the space of thinking that the symptoms that you have are normal. The mindset that you have is keeping you raising the next generation of young women and men who don't know how to take care of their bodies. And we don't get taught in society that programs us to eat meat, to eat dairy, to eat processed snacks, to cycle sync. So why in the world do you think that this system that is designed to poison you supports you? We have to start supporting each other and recognizing these signs and starting to pinpoint out you're not healing. You have a block. And since you have a block, it's time for you to realize the power of your body so you can remove the block. Thank you guys for liking up the live. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for the follows, guys. When you are eating things like nutrient-rich foods, you are going to help your body break the cycle. So when you are eating a plant-based lifestyle, you're focusing on plant-based foods. This is going to allow your body to not only flush and to reset, but it also gives you the essential nutrients that you need so that your organs can stop working overtime, but actually use your body's energy to convert. Your body's food to convert itself into energy so we can use that rather than making you fatigue and feel like you're a machine that's been overworked. Because that's what a lot of y'all are feeling like, an overworked machine. And it's because you're not supporting your body and being fully balanced. Your hormones are not balanced. Your organ health is poor. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. Detoxification is a big part of what you're supposed to be doing every single day with the foods that you eat, with fiber, with antioxidants. Y'all are taking supplements. Instead of eating your fiber, you're using fiber 1 bars instead of eating your fiber from natural fruits and vegetables. You're sitting here taking an antioxidant supplement and not realizing that your body cannot use these supplements the way that it does food. A lot of these supplements that y'all take, you do realize because y'all love to talk about things that are not regulated by these letter people. I'm not going to say their name because they're going to take my life. But the point is, y'all talk about all the time that things aren't regulated under certain systems. But you do realize that those supplements that you are recommended to take by all these gurus and these people are not regulated, and to the point where they're not regulated so you don't even know what you're taking. And majority of the time when you're taking these things like antioxidants, the fiber that you take, it's fake. It's not real. And the fake fiber, the fake estrogen, the fake antioxidants, the fake hormonal health supplements that you take, the women's gummies, are not used in your body the way that they're advertised. And so all your body does is hold on to it as another toxin. And so you're just adding in a supplement that is categorized in your body as another toxin. You have been misled, and that's okay. But we have to help our body in eliminating toxins rather than keep adding on toxins. Because if you keep adding on to these toxins, you are going to keep being sick. So you have to realize that things like resetting your gut and eating for your gut is something that is going to support your hormones and being completely balanced. You do realize that over 70% of your immune system is in your gut. So when your immune system is not supported, your hormones are going to be off. Your hormone health is also directly tied to your gut system. So when your gut microbiome is not where it needs to be and it's not balanced, you're going to have hormonal issues. You're going to be sitting here dealing with the issue of now you're backed up and you're not feeling right. So your mood is off. Your brain is off. Your energy levels are off. You have to be eating foods that support your full system. Have you ever tried a plant-based meal? Because there are plenty of people who sit out here and they're talking about, and not talking about just a salad. I'm talking about an actual plant-based meal that is delicious, that you will actually enjoy. Have you ever ate one outside of a salad? Because so many people believe that being healthy is eating a salad. This is how you're healthy. You just eat salads. You were calorie counting, you restrict, and you hate this. But this is the healthy lifestyle. And you're starving and you're uncomfortable. I have been plant-based over 4 years. I don't eat a salad every single day. I only eat salads when I'm craving it and when I want it. I don't sit here and starve myself. I'm not hungry all the time. I actually cook foods. The difference between your diet culture and the lifestyle that I live is that mine isn't momentary flipping back and forth between being healthy and not being healthy, but every single day choosing to take care of my body, but also enjoying food while I take care of my body. Knowing how to sync with my cycle, so I know the times that's appropriate for me to fast and the times that I need more energy, so I need more food. Knowing what healthy fibers come from actual fruits and vegetables. Healthy proteins come from fruits and vegetables. Healthy fats come from fruits and vegetables. And understanding that the meat that you love to eat and you swear up and down is healthy is tainted. It's not healthy and it's not supporting you. And that's the reason why you're suffering so bad. Dairy is promoted for you to eat and consume because it's highly inflammatory and it throws off your system's hormones. You eating these processed snacks and not knowing how to read your labels throws off your system completely. So get out of the mindset of thinking that you are supported in the system that has programmed you and trained you into poisoning your body. Because y'all don't eat enough fruits and eat enough vegetables to have a discerning thought, to realize that you have been thrown off. So when somebody brings up to you about eating a plant-based lifestyle, eating a plant-based plate in general, you think you're going to be hungry. You're like, okay, I'm not understanding how this is going to fill me up. What is this supposed to do? I'm going to be hungry still, because you're so used to still being hungry after you eat. It's the reason why in America specifically, the portions are so big and we eat so much, and then with 30 minutes later, we're still hungry. It's because we are not given nutrients inside of the food. Our food is nutritionally dense. And it's so bad to the point where our food has no nutritional value. And we have been trained to think that if a portion is small, it's not going to fill us up because we're not used to having nutrition in our food. We are so trained into believing that if you have a normal size plate versus a big variety portion on your plate, you're not getting your bang for your buck. In reality, when you're actually eating for your health and using food as your medicine, you do realize that you can't eat as much as you normally do. What you are currently eating 3 meals a day and snacks in between is on a lifestyle of not actually getting any nutrients in your food. You cannot do that. I can't do that. I cannot sit here and eat 3 full plant-based meals without overstuffing myself to the point where I'm going to be sick. And that's just that on that. That's not me starving myself. I have not gone a day since I have gone plant-based where I'm sitting here saying, I'm so hungry, there's nothing to eat. I hate this. I realized very quickly within the first 3 months of me actually eating foods that have actual nutrition in them, I have been overconsuming and not getting enough food. Because the things that you are eating are not food. That's why you're not full. That's the reason why you're sitting here complaining about how you ate a full meal yet you're still hungry. Or you eat a full meal and all of a sudden you need something sweet. It's because you had no balancers, you had no stabilizers, not enough healthy fats, not enough healthy proteins. And to think about, because when I think about when I used to eat meat and I used to consume dairy, how I would eat a full meal of meat and dairy and everything else that they promote us to eat, right? So how am I hungry within 30 minutes? If this is the normal protein that I'm supposed to eat, the healthy fat that I'm supposed to eat, why am I not full? But I can do a cleanse for an entire week of just raw fruits and vegetables when it's time for me to do that, because I don't do it all the time. But when you learn how to sync with your cycle, you start to see the signs of your body either being off, being healthy, or just needing a flush. And so when I can tell, hey, I think I need a week flush, and I do that week flush, I'm not sitting there starving during that time, because you know why? I know what healthy fats and healthy proteins come from fruits and vegetables, so that I stay full and I can last through that week without hating it. It's always a challenge to fast, but when you have the strategy that actually supports your body in being comfortable in the space, You won't hate the journey that you're on. You won't hate having to do a cleanse or a detox. You won't have to hype yourself up to do it every single time and then trick yourself into it. But actually, you'll look forward to it because you know by the end you're going to feel better. You're going to look better. And then on top of that, by the time that your cycle is here, you're not going to be suffering from PMS. You're not going to be in pain or irregular cycles or heavy cycles. You're not going to be dealing with bleeding for 5+ days. You're going to be bleeding the normal amount of days that you're supposed to be, which is 3 to 4 days. But you have to break the cycle of poisoning yourself and then sitting here dealing with an issue of, I don't know what to do with my body. There's something wrong with my body. Let me go take a prescription. High cortisol is an issue, but a lot of people think that high cortisol is a point where, okay, if I have high cortisol, I need to lower it. You have to balance cortisol because a lot of people have been in a high cortisol state for years. And I've talked about this in the past lives before, and I'm just going to go over this like really quickly. A lot of people don't realize when they think that they have high cortisol, majority of the time you have high and low because you hit a peak of how high your cortisol can go. You stay there for so long and then your body naturally has to lower it, so it's going to hit a plateau at the bottom. You need your hormone of your cortisol to be at a happy balance where it's not too high, not too low. But people think to lower it. But naturally, from you being in a high cortisol state, your body's going to naturally lower it to the point where it's not in a healthy state either. And so in order for you to completely balance that hormonal chaos, that hormonal cortisol that you're having of high cortisol / low cortisol, is for you to stop putting your body in a fight or flight mode. And how you do that is starting to support your body with the foods that you consume, with the products that you use. Because like I said, it's inflammatory for you to use these products or these fragrances, these sulfates, these phthalates, all these different things that are in our products as well as our foods. All these different things that are in our products as well as our foods. And so get away from the norms of thinking that you having a chronic illness or a chronic disease is normal. Us sitting here dealing with all these children who are dealing with autism is something that just happens inside the body and it's normal. Because you do realize that a lot of these cases of us getting diagnosed with all of these issues inside the body or all these temperaments inside the body, especially at a young age, is tied to food. And a lot of people are not realizing that these are tied to food. Your health and your food is directly connected. If you're not eating and using food as your medicine, you're not going to be healthy. That means you're having a hormonal imbalance, Tay. That's the same thing that we're talking about. It's a hormonal imbalance. If you're having water retention, weight gain, weight fluctuation, that's a hormonal imbalance. Because that water retention means that you are not getting hydration on a cellular level, but rather your body is holding on to that water retention. And yes, that is a symptom of menopause, premenopause, but menopause is not the issue. Menopause is something normal that your body goes through. The hormonal fluctuations is something that your body has been going through for years. You go through hormonal fluctuations every single month because that's the reason why you're supposed to sync with your cycle. Your hormones are naturally going to fluctuate. Fluctuation is not the problem. The problem is your body fluctuate into an imbalance. When you're fluctuating, that's a normal thing for your body to go up and down with cortisol, with progesterone, in different aspects. But when you're sitting there dealing with a hormonal imbalance, that means your body is just going through chaos. When you are not getting hydration on a cellular level, when you're not getting oxygen on a cellular level, diseases thrive in that space. You know what disease thrives the most in the space of you not being hydrated on a cellular level or oxygenated on a cellular level? Cancer. It's your hormones. Yes, that is a hormonal imbalance. It's not just a symptom of premenopause, because premenopausal symptoms that are causing you to have discomfort, causing you to have the fluctuation of your weight gain and etc., majority of the time is a hormonal imbalance. Your hormonal imbalance starts with looking at what you eat, especially with menopause, because a lot of people don't tie their hormones to food. I don't know what your lifestyle is, but a lot of people don't tie those things together. And so from somebody who has helped myself balance my hormones and to heal the imbalance that I had, and to understand, because for a while I was estrogen dominant and I didn't understand what estrogen dominance was coming from, because I was like, okay, why is all the women in my family dealing with the same issue? My grandma was talking about my mom having the issue. I have the issue now. And so breaking that down and understanding how my body changes with the foods that I eat, and the outcome comes from the foods that I eat, it started to make me actually choose the foods subconsciously and consciously that supported my system before my cycle. Before, all I was craving before my cycle, and a lot of women do, sugar, carbs. You crave sugar, you're craving carbs, you want sweet things, you want to lay down, you want to rest. But you're not realizing the time before your cycle is not the time for you to be craving sweets, for you to be craving carbs. If you are craving those two things, your body is lacking nutrients. And a lot of people, a lot of women believe that that's just something that you go through during that time. I used to go through that. I don't crave sweets right before my cycle anymore. Honestly and truthfully, during my cycle time, if I think about eating sweets, I get sick now. And that's because you're not supposed to be eating these things, because not only is that inflammatory sugar that you're consuming, because you're not eating sugar from fruits, you're craving chocolate and all these different candy bars and things. You are throwing off your hormones more, and you're going to make your insulin spike. And that insulin spike is going to combat your iron deficiency, because you're already bleeding. And so your iron is going to lower itself and you're going to be suffering. Okay, but Tay, a healthy lifestyle to everybody is not the same, because I broke this down earlier. You might not have been here. If you want to catch more of that, catch the full live. It will be posted on my YouTube. I'm not going to go back through what the breakdown of healthy lifestyle versus understanding diet culture. I break that down all the time. So my YouTube has all my past lives on it. But to everybody, healthy lifestyle is not actually healthy, because too many people believe in diet culture as the healthy lifestyle and the healthy way to go. And I don't use the term diet, because diet is literally, when you break the acronym diet. You break the acronym down, diet. Who is dying? And so that's why I don't like the term diet. We say lifestyle change, because it's literally you sitting there saying diet. Who is dying? What is dying? Because the unhealthy habits aren't dying. And so you haven't had a cycle in 5 years and you do be craving chocolate. Even if you don't have a cycle because you're going through menopause, your hormones can still be imbalanced. A lot of women don't realize that. And I have an amazing coach who teaches women who are going through menopause specifically, the fact that just because you don't have a hormonal period cycle, you are still having a cycle, because women go through a 28, 30-day cycle. Men go through 24-hour cycles. That's just what our body does. My YouTube is linked in my bio. You're allergic to all fruits and vegetables. You're going to have to flush that out for it. I need to know a little bit more for that. I don't think that you're allergic to all fruits and vegetables. Are you allergic to nuts? Are you allergic to legumes? Because like, you're telling me every single fruit and vegetable, and there's thousands of fruits, there's thousands of vegetables, and you're telling me you're allergic to every single raw fruit and vegetable. What component are you allergic to inside the raw fruits and vegetables? Just about doesn't mean that you are. And I'm not saying this in a rude way, but we have to be specific, because I can't help you. Like, this is probably something that we will have to talk with in a one-on-one, because I can't help you on a generalization basis. Like, I need a breakdown of, I'm allergic to phytoestrogens, I'm allergic to the compound of sugar in fruit. Like, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of things in science that they tell us that, like, how instance, I've been told all my life I'm allergic to pollen. Nobody ever told me that I was highly inflamed. So that's the reason why pollen affected me the way that it did. I used to have nosebleeds every single day. Every single time an irritant flew in the air. I had, from the age of I think 10 and under, I was having constant irregular nosebleeds, just randomly. Drop of a hat, you flip a switch on, I'm having a nosebleed. I go outside, I get hot, I'm having a nosebleed. And so when I started to realize that, oh, I'm suffering from all of this because I have an overloaded inflammation. Guess what? During that time of me being super inflamed, I was having knee issues. I had to wear 2 knee braces. I also had the issue of I had developed asthma. I don't have asthma. I can run, and I have not worn a knee brace in years. I couldn't even run as a little itty bitty 5th grader without a knee brace. Here I am now, not having all these issues. So I need to know more into that. And so I think what would support you is booking a one-on-one so we can talk about that in depth, because I know that they have a character limit on here and I can't get the full picture and the full story to be able to help you here on that, because I need to know more specific details. I definitely do. So if you would like to book that, I do have that in my bio. Yeah, I have that in my bio. You can get a Klarna from or Afterpay. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it, Tay. Because I think that's something that we would have to talk about more in depth than what I can just get here. Like, I don't think I can give you a clear-cut situational strategy for that. That's because that's something that's like, I have people who come to me about like specific things like nuts or legumes or a specific fruit or a specific vegetable, or they can break down the compound. Like, for instance, I worked with children for over 5 years. I worked with children who have had allergies out the wazoo, okay? I had a child that was allergic to eggs, but they could eat eggs as long as they were cooked in a certain capacity. So they could eat eggs in baked goods, they could eat eggs in certain things, and then at a certain point, now they can eat eggs. They had weaned themselves off of the allergy, if that makes sense. But from what I gained the understanding of, they started to switch their child's habits when it came to eating. The dad had gone, because they were all a pretty bigger sized family. They had all started going into a diet. And so they started to switch the things that they were eating. And around the time that they started to switch the things that they were eating, they also started to wean her off of, plant-based eggs and started to introduce her into the eggs itself. I personally wouldn't be giving my child eggs, but the point is the child had an egg allergy, and they got her to the space by lowering her inflammation because they were giving everybody in the house a bunch of inflammatory foods. They were all a bigger family, and there's nothing wrong with a healthy weight, okay? But they recognized and realized that nobody was a healthy weight in the family. And so it's just a matter of getting to the root cause of the issue. That's really what it is getting to the root cause of the issue. I'm not saying we go out here and say that, okay, you're allergic to an apple, let's go eat an apple and every single day just wean yourself off of it. But what I'm saying is like, let's say like you've never had a dragon fruit. Let's try dragon fruit. Are you allergic to dragon fruit? Maybe you can eat dragon fruit. Some people are allergic to pineapples, but they're not allergic to other acidic fruits. And so it's the matter of trial and error and breaking that down, of getting to the component of what are you allergic to. Okay, maybe you're allergic to, like, let's say I forgot what it's called inside of the like apple seeds. You know what I mean? Like just the different components, because we have to understand that everything has its own chemical chemistry. And she was allergic to one chemical inside of the egg's chemical chemistry. Which this is a long tangent, but the point is that we just have to break it down. That's what I'm going to say. And then we're going to get back to the points. We just got to break it down. So, understanding our body's signals and understanding the signs that are coming from our body allows us to recognize symptoms like irregular periods, these irregular cycles, mood swings, fatigue. There's a hair on my ankle and I'm trying to get it off. Did I get it? I got it. Okay. Mood swings and fatigue are all signals that are not normal, but rather signs to let us know you have a hormonal imbalance and you have not been dealing with your hormones the way that you should have been. And since you haven't been dealing with those hormones the way that you should have been, now your body is saying, hey, I'm imbalanced and I can't help you. And so it's saying, I can't regulate this anymore. Now you're going to be having all these mood swings and PMSing. You're going to be having a cycle that is way longer than it needs to be. Let me plug in my laptop though. It's going to be way longer than it needs to be. Oh, goodness. And then don't even get me started on the fact that like a lot of y'all are not realizing, because I was a heavy bleeder at one point. You're not supposed to be bleeding heavy. That's not normal. Just because they tell you it's normal. I was overweight. I was playing 2 sports at a time, had lost a whole bunch of weight, was sitting here thinking like, okay, I'm being healthy. I'm doing this right. Cycle is still heavy. Cycle is still longer than 3 to 4 days. Not only is that happening, but I'm also having other issues of I'm still dealing with PMS. I'm still dealing with mental fog. I'm still having mood swings. And this is because just because you lose weight does not mean you're going to be healthy. Of course, you're naturally going to feel better because you're lighter. Of course, you're naturally going to feel good because now you're sitting there looking yourself in the mirror and saying, girl, you done lost weight and you looking good. So you're training yourself to see the outcome of this is what happens when I calorie count and I restrict. This is what happens when I starve myself. Of course, you're going to have a good outcome for that moment, but you're not sustaining that outcome in that positive space of being healthy on your journey. And so you have to understand what is going on with your hormones, with your organs, what's going on with your insulin resistance, and breaking that down so you can stop experiencing the same problems and start to get out of the space of thinking that this is normal, but rather empowering your body through the knowledge that you have on how your body heals itself naturally when you support it. And if you are in the space where you're like, okay, well, I don't know how to get started. I don't know exactly what I need to do. I understand I need to eat fruits. I understand I need to eat vegetables and live a plant-based lifestyle, but I don't know where to get started. I don't know how to get started. And you're trying to figure out and comprehend the approach to go down. I have a clear-cut strategy that is going to help you because I teach people in my Balanced Body program how to cycle sync, how to actually get plant-based nutrition so you're not guessing of how do I get stabilizers, how do I get healthy fats, how do I get healthy proteins. Understanding how to detoxify and to cleanse your body from a plant-based space and not starve yourself. Understand how to fast effectively and to support yourself before and after so you're not having repercussions from fasting because you're going to be hungry, and also making your own natural non-toxic products and non-toxic medications. So if you do get sick, if you need energy, I literally have an energy tincture right here that I keep on my desk. Things that you can start making for yourself so you can get away from this space of depending on people that poison you. If you are looking for not only a place that is going to support you in a strategy, also have workshops to work with me, as well as also have one-on-ones and know exactly how I've lived over 4 years. It's been over 4 years, about 4.5 years of me being plant-based now. And not only not going back to the lifestyle that I was, but not dealing with all the issues that I was having beforehand. You can get it with Klarna Affirmer Afterpay. My Balanced Body program is linked in my bio. And this is going to help you be able to live the lifestyle and to change what you're doing to get to the root cause to have a plant-based lifestyle and to be on your healthy journey in the correct way outside of what they're teaching you. I used to be over 200 pounds. I could not get under 190. I have not hit 90s. 190s. I don't even remember. I probably want to say maybe the first year, maybe the first month of me being plant-based. I have not been in that space in years. And it's not because I have to calorie count and restrict and do all these different things. The only thing I do when I go to the grocery store is read labels. I don't calorie count. I don't look at the calorie intake on here. Oh, I might look at the sugar intake maybe, but I don't have to do all of those things that they teach you to do in those pyramids because I can't overconsume because I get full off of the food that I eat. And when I am overconsuming and I'm super, super hungry, I have the discerning thought now because my subconscious has been trained over the years to recognize, hey, you're eating a whole lot. Why? What are you not getting? Oh, I'm craving greens. That's because I'm not getting enough fiber in my food. I haven't been eating enough fiber. Oh, I'm craving fruits. I'm craving sugar. It's because I need some fruits. I haven't eaten fruits. I'm craving this, or I'm drinking a whole lot of water because I'm not getting hydration on a cellular level. And so before I hop off, like I said, that is linked in my bio. I will take any questions that you have. I want to hear from you. What questions do you have for me so that I can support you on your journey? And if I've already answered your questions, first of all, thank you for asking any questions that you have. And second of all, my link is in my bio for you to check out my YouTube. These are posted to my YouTube. You can, if you're watching this later, you could drop any questions that you have in the comments. Don't forget to go like that video. Go subscribe if you have not. And let me know what questions you have. As I'm getting the hiccups now. I've been talking a little fast. I didn't realize how fast I was talking until I got the hiccups. What questions do you have? Any questions for me before I hop off? What time is it? I might get me some food. I might cook me something. I don't know what I'm gonna cook. I might cook me something though. Any questions? If not, if you don't have any questions, menopause with specific issues of water retention. I support women that are having. I support all women. That's just as simple as that. I can put it. I support all women, but specifically what we've been talking about for the past. Specifically what we've been talking about for the past, I want to say at least 4 or 5 months, I want to say, is we've been talking about insulin resistance and hormonal health. So yes, like either way, yes. That's what that's what I've been specifically talking about and catering to, because the way that we are going as a society, when they're talking about the projection of by 2030, for us to be sitting here dealing with $1 trillion profit in the medical industry when it comes to people being diabetic and overweight is ridiculous. There are millions of women dealing with the issue of PCOS and fibroids. And by the time that women hit the age of 50, they are more likely to be diagnosed with having a fibroid, especially women of color. And not only are they more likely to be diagnosed by the age that they're 50, but they have been showing signs for 10 to 7 years beforehand, and no doctor has pinpointed that it's been in hormonal imbalance. This is statistics. This is literal fact that they quote and they say online, and they know it's an issue, yet we have no solution. And the reason why is because they have the solution. They just don't want to sell you the healing solution, but instead find a way that they can market it something else to you. So now they're telling you to get this heart healthy gummy. Now they're telling you to get this woman healthy supplement to take every single day, instead of telling you the food that you're eating is throwing off your hormonal balance. And as a woman, you're not syncing with your cycle. So that's what we talk about during that time, is syncing with your cycle and understanding just because you are in a menopausal state, you're still going through a menstruation cycle, or you're going through a full cycle without menstruating. And so that's what I break down in that program. But that is only in the program. If you do book a one-on-one and you were like, you know what, I think I want to get in the program, I do price match for 24 hours. If you were sitting there thinking, you're like, you know what, I would like to, or not price match, but price difference, I don't know what to call it. I give you the sum of the rest rather than you paying the full price for whatever the program is. You take that from the one-on-one that you had. How can I find the foods? Is it in the program? I do have a plant-based cookbook. I also have an Eating Away Diabetes cookbook, which focuses on A1C, insulin resistance, and diet culture, and breaking that down and getting away from that and learning how to eat a rainbow plate. I also have a beginner cookbook. I have plenty of support that starts as little as you just getting an ebook all the way up to getting the program. There are tiers. So that's why I say, I'm not here to just get you and sell you this and this is the only thing. There are tiers for you to be able to get the help and support that you need. Whether you need support and strategy or working with me directly, which you get in the program, so that if you have any questions, you have me in your back pocket for 6 weeks, so that you can have sustainable habits while you're developing a new lifestyle, versus you just saying, you know what, I just need to learn how to make plant-based meals, and I'm going to see and I'm going to work from there. I have the whole plethora that you can get through. There are hair all over my ankle. I didn't realize how much hair I had dropped and walked through. So you can get everything with Klarna Affirmer Afterpay. You have information to help children. Yes, I have worked with kids for over 5 years. I have helped many children, not only just in this space of being here on TikTok, but also in person. I talked about this in my last live. I haven't posted it, but it will be posted this week. I helped a child who was autistic, whose parents were, I'm not going to go into the whole spiel like I did last time, but their parents were catering to their unhealthy eating habits at a very, very young age. And so to the point where the only thing that they would eat was Chex Mix, bars, and fruit, fruit is great, but that's all they were eating. They wouldn't eat anything else. And the child was super small. He was out of his weight for his age, but he wasn't in an unhealthy weight, if that makes sense. So he was still healthy. It wasn't like they were, on their necks about the fact that they needed to eat, but he was still really small, so he needed to eat. By the end of me working with him for a month of getting him into a space of being comfortable of trying new foods and understanding and talking to his parents about the fact that we have to stop catering to the unhealthy habits. We have to understand that you're training him to not want to eat foods, but only eat snacks and junk. And so after that, working with him specifically for a month and having a conversation with his parents, they saw the difference that it made, because we get to a space, all people do, of being comfortable. We are creatures of habit. We like habit. We like to do the same thing because we know the outcome and the result. They got to the point where they knew they didn't have to fight him to eat if they gave him the same things. And so we have to get out of that space of making them feel comfortable so that they can be uncomfortable, so they can be healthy. The uncomfortable feeling won't be there for long. It took about a week and a half for him to realize that she's gonna keep trying to feed me. Like, it took him about a week and a half. And in that week and a half, now he's eating chicken tenders. Oh, he would also eat bread. So now I'm putting chicken tenders with bread. I'm giving him other foods that he wouldn't eat before. He didn't like peas and carrots, but I could get him to eat at least 2 spoonfuls of peas and carrots in a setting without him completely throwing a fit. So it's just a matter of getting both of you uncomfortable for a minute so that you can live a happier life later on. Because I talked about this in a video. I don't know exactly what I titled it. I have to remember, but I was talking about children that have autism and how that dopamine response is going to make them worse off when they're older, when you train them to eat junk. Because when they get older and they actually have that rebellion stage of that I can do what I want to do and I have a mind for myself now, they're not going to choose the healthier option. They're going to choose what they've trained to consume subconsciously that gives them that dopamine stimulation. And so that dopamine stimulation is going to keep them choosing the unhealthy habits. And what statistics are seeing is that kids that have autism are more likely to develop diabetes because they're already more likely to overconsume food because it gives them this dopamine stimulation like everybody does. We eat for comfort. And a lot of families feed their children with autism for comfort so that they're not uncomfortable. So they sit down and they have a moment to rest. So they have all of these different issues that are in the home, if I would say it that way, solved for a moment. And like I said, we're creatures of comfortability and habit. It's understandable. But when you make yourself uncomfortable for a little bit, it makes a small little change here, which seems big in the moment, to get you to a big result later on that you're going to look back and you're going to realize, I'm so happy that we caught it early. I'm so happy we started doing this early. So I don't have a child that's having to have insulin for the rest of their life. And now that it's too old for me to train them the right way. And so I loved working with little bitties. I love working with all kids of ages, but specifically little bitties, because you can see from the outside looking in, you can see the little habit patterns forming. And I love to see children who love to eat fruit, children who love to eat vegetables, even if they're on top of that, it's them, eating something that I wouldn't necessarily give them, because it's training them up the right way. So then eventually we can get to the space of knocking out all the other crap. But it's just a matter of getting them introduced into the healthy things first. This is the reason why we give children cheese on their broccoli. Not saying that you should give them inflammatory dairy. There are plenty of cheese alternatives, but that's the reason why you start to give children, cheese and snap peas and cheese and broccoli, because it gets them introduced into eating the vegetables without completely hating it. It's the reason why you give them ranch on the side or ketchup or etc. You know what I'm saying? Is it mindful to eat raw to heal your body, full body of everything? Yes, that's a great thing for you to do. If you can do that, yes. As long as you can, if you can go raw plant-based for a month, you are going to see a complete transition in your body and your health, and you're going to really love the impact that it's going to have. It's great. But a lot of people can't do that, or they haven't set themselves up to be able to do that, and so they have a bunch of repercussions, and so they're trying to navigate and figure out why all of a sudden they're sluggish and they have no energy and etc. And I have a lot of people that come to me about that. You just have to know how to do it effectively and correctly. And that's what I teach in my detoxing and my cleansing bundle, because it's a bundle of 6 ebooks and 1 template guide. So it's 7 total in that one price for that ebook. But it's 7 books to break down a full body cleanse from a space of raw fruits, raw vegetables, understanding how to eat a rainbow plate, understanding how to effectively fast and to detox, so that you're not playing that guessing game. Because I know it's summer. A lot of people are going to want to cleanse and they're going to want to look good for the summertime. So just the simple things that we learn as we go along. Any other questions for me? And if not, I'm going to hop off. Thank you guys for the likes. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. I want to move this out of the way. This is in my way. And it didn't help with the issue at hand in juicing. I don't know exactly what you were eating, But I know when I first was going plant-based, I made a lot of issues, I had a lot of issues with all of the errors that I made, because within the first 3 months, I was having a big issue with the fact that I also was thinking, okay, this isn't working. I'm doing something wrong. I'm seeing differences. I'm seeing, the weight is slowly going off, but it's not really doing everything that it could be doing. And I'm noticing the patterns, right? And so as I started to not only do trial and error and have the stumbling blocks, but I stopped eating so much processed plant-based things. And I realized it was because majority of those plant-based foods that we eat have soy in them. Majority of those plant-based foods that are promoted to us are not healthy. It's the same thing of all the other processed foods they promote. You see commercials for Oreos, Chips Ahoy, all the different things that they love to market. They do the same things. If you're eating Beyond Meat, if you're eating Possible Meat, that's highly inflammatory. If you're not reading your labels and knowing how to read your labels, it's highly inflammatory. And it's going to seem like a lot if you've never done these things, because these are a lot of aspects that you have to change and you have to learn. But in my program, I don't just throw you to the wolves and be like, this is what you have to do. Here's a whole list of things, and then boom. I break down each week a new skill that we are going to learn. So by the end, that last week, that 6 weeks, that is your trial and error process to say, okay, this worked, this didn't. We have our meeting in between, obviously, but that last week is for you to be able to sustain the lifestyle outside of the program. So we give you that final countdown of, okay, this didn't work, this is what you need to change, this is what's happening. We have a midway point that we do the same thing, as well as we have the beginning intake meeting, and then we have workshops in between to start making your own non-toxic products, learning how to make your own plant-based meals, and meeting with each other to see. We have assignments in between there. There are different aspects in that program that is going to walk you through step by step, because it is a step-by-step strategy. That's the whole reason why I made the program, because the products of doing it yourself doesn't help a lot of people the way that they need to. And so there's a lot of guessing game in between the beginning of going plant-based. I did the guessing game. If it didn't work. Like, it didn't work at first. And so I had to educate myself in this space of being plant-based and learning what was going on. And once I started to realize, oh, it's because I'm eating all these processed snacks. Oh, I'm eating a whole bunch of soy. This isn't working for me. I started to understand. That makes sense. What other questions do you guys have for me? Thank you for the likes. I really appreciate it. What other questions do you have? If you don't have any more questions, I am going to get off and find me something to eat. I'm kind of hungry. I'm not starving, but I am kind of hungry. I am. And it's 2:30. It's almost 2:30. You are so welcome. So no more questions for me? No more questions. One more minute. I'll type this. Once I'm done typing this. Okay. Okay. I didn't realize it was there like that. Can I do this? No. Okay. No more questions? Well, I'm going to hop off. I appreciate each and every one for all the questions that you've given me. Thank you for all the follows, all the likes, guys. If you have any questions and you're like, you know what, she got off, I didn't think about this till after, or you have something personal that you don't want to share, you can always DM me. But like I say, and I preference this every single time, if you DM me and I have a product or service that I can refer you to and I know that will support you and will help you more than what I can just do in a DM, I'm going to answer your question, but I am going to refer you to that product or service because there's a reason why. I know that this is going to support you. I've already made the product or service to be able to support you. And so I'm not just going to sit here and beat a dead horse. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm out. I got to fix this little piece and